let's get Elena on. We didn't get to spend a lot of time with her last week, but her story, was shocking to us because we were highlighting Mexican-owned businesses last week. And Elena called up, and she's got a company called Besitos Beauty. And while she was leaving her story, she told us that this place that she owns now really was a place of healing for her. And at that point, she piqued our interest, and the story was like jaw-dropping. Hey, and she's back because we didn't have time to spend with her last week. Hey, Elena.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for coming back on with us.
Oh my gosh, it's an honor, and thank you so much for having me. Yes.
You're so sweet. And congratulations on your company. Again, explain to people really quick your company, why you started it.
Yeah, Besitos Beauty is started as a luxurious lipstick company because lipstick's always been my thing. And it really came to me after discovering an affair. And when I looked back and realized lipstick was the one thing that allowed me to get up each day, face the world, pull myself together, and just, keep going because I did not want to keep going. And just being a businesswoman, I thought I can't be the only woman that feels like this. Mm-hmm. And if lipstick can be fun, let's do it. And I'm very lipstick picky, so I just created my own line.
No, I love that. And we've dealt with, a plethora of infidelities on this show. However, yours was slightly unique.
Yes. My husband, him and I were married for 2 years, and he passed away on Christmas Eve of 2018. He was only 49 years old, and I was 44. So he passed away on Christmas Eve. And when I thought things couldn't get worse, and they just kept getting worse and worse, about 9 months after he died, I discovered a 5-year affair. And, that was the last piece. I thought, God, I have my GOD, my grand overall designer, and I thought, God, I'm like Rocky in the ring, just getting beat down here. Like, this is it. This is the one. How do I get back up? And I knew there was purpose for God showing it to me. I knew that there was something that I had to do with it. And, when you discover an affair after you've buried someone,
right,
the complex of emotions.
Oh, I bet.
And the hardest part was I carried it with me for a very short while. And the work that I do is actually coaching women, confidence, self-esteem. And I thought, I feel like a fraud. Mm-hmm. I feel like a fraud. I'm carrying this toxic bomb inside of me, trying to help women break free and, do these things. And I had to come clean. I had to say this out loud. And the backlash, of course, you can imagine, how dare you say this about somebody that's already passed. And it got ugly, but I just stayed true to knowing everything serves a purpose. And if God allowed me to be here, something positive has to come out of this. I have to turn this around, not only for myself, but for so many others that get stuck in that dark place and never thrive. And that's what I chose to do.
I love that story. Again, it's besitosbeauty.com. All right, Elena, I got a couple of questions for you because there's probably a few listening that have had to go through the same thing. But like Kristen said, we've never really focused on this. When you find out about an affair after the other person passes away, first of all, how did you find out about it? And how do you get closure on it? There's nobody to yell at. It would leave me sort of empty and this is not even who I thought it was.
Yeah, well, number one, like I said, as soon as he died, I discovered lie upon lie upon lie, financial ruin, like all stuff. So this was like the last piece. I actually discovered it in his cell phone, okay? But he had gotten a new cell phone right before he passed away. So that's the cell phone that I had at the hospital, and I'm answering questions, texting and everything. He owned a company, and there were a lot of contacts in there. So 9 months goes by, and I actually am still getting contacted by, all of these contractors and stuff. And there was a number that I didn't have in his phone. And I'm like, I know he has this number. And it honestly then dawned on me, oh my gosh, that older phone that's been sitting like in a pile of all his things. So I had to charge it up. It had sat empty. And as soon as I charged it up, I never worried about his telephones. I don't have time to worry about stuff like that. But as soon as I charged it up, the first thing that popped up was this woman's name. And I already knew her. She had been in my home 2 days before I found out. Like, I knew of this person. And I thought, Elena, don't do it. Don't do it. Like, don't click on it. Don't look. And, of course, I had to click on it. And there was literally 5 years worth of communication, including on our wedding day, before our wedding day.
No. And there's no way to, like, lash out or, oh, wow. No, we had only been married 2 years. We had been together 8 years, but this affair went on for 5. So it was like, where are you registered? Should I send you a gift? I mean, It was ugly. It was ugly. And, of course I had to go back and read it again because I thought maybe I'm just making this up. Like, maybe this is not really what it looks like. And yeah, it was all there. I think the obvious question is, did you reach out to the woman and try to get a picture of what this looked like, or did you just compartmentalize and move on with your life?
Actually what I did is I ended up praying for her. I prayed for her because you can't be with somebody for 5 years, regardless of whether you're in the shadows or not, and not feel their loss. And, sick people hurt people, right? Or however that's called. And so he obviously was struggling, and she was hurt too. And now he was dead. And I thought, what possible good could come out of me making a thing out of this? Absolutely nothing. And so I actually prayed for her, and I prayed for God to just give me the strength to know what to do. And the amazing thing is, and if there's anybody struggling with this piece in their life, when I wanted to ask those questions, like, why wasn't I good enough? Why, could I have done something better? And God actually stopped me, and he said, stop asking questions you will never receive answers to. And that moment changed my life. And I had to forgive him, and I actually had to cover him in love because he's not even here. And I had to choose to live and thrive and be happy with myself and these years that I'm given. It's a blessing, and I couldn't hold on to the ugliness of it.
Wow.
That part had to be buried with him. So I did go to his gravesite. I did have my moment, and I did tell him I will never be back. I had to let it go, but it was no one's fault at that point. So why bring her through, drag her down? I never even mentioned her name. In fact, I was in a speaking competition, and we were in a speak off because we had tied for first place, and we were given a word, and we had 1 minute to speak, right on site. And my word was vulnerability. And that's the first place I went, was the moment I discovered the affair. And I got to a point where I almost said her name, and I stopped myself. I ended up losing the competition, but I thought my integrity and my honor and respect for people is greater than trying to win this competition. So we're all faced with choices every day, and I just chose to do something positive with it. And today I've created a business that brings fun into my life every day, but also helps strengthen confidence and self-esteem.
Wow.
Thank you for allowing us to come to your TED Talk today.
Yeah, seriously.
Yes.
I was not expecting all that. What an amazing woman. Besitos Beauty, Elena Rodriguez. Thank you. Now, if he makes it, you going to whoop his ass in heaven?
If he makes it.
I'm sure we'll have our moment.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure we'll have our moment.
You have to.
Yeah. You can throw all sorts of rights and lefts up in heaven. He's going to catch those hands. All right, Elena. Thank you sincerely, man. What a lesson this morning. I really appreciate you taking the time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Boy, that was more than I expected right there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Ooh, I don't have that gear. I'll tell you that, man.
The Bert Show.
Like what you just watched? Well, you can get way more of The Bert Show on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.